Hello everybody, welcome to this video. If you're suffering from cardiophobia or your heart racing rate are over 80 or 100 or they're going roughly 200 BPM, which is very dangerous state because you can risk death. But there is something here. I know you are terrified, I know you have a lot of fear. But the thing is, we need to clarify what's happening in your life. Are you really having this heart resting rate because your heart is really sick and maybe you suffer from arrhythmia or you suffer from any cardiac problems which you need to check yourself? Or is this kind of fear and anxiety which is feeding your nervous system to have the heart resting rate more and more and more? I know how you feel. I know it's terrified. When this heart resting rate they start in your life, you are terrified. You feel you're gonna die, and you feel you hate to be in this state. You want to escape, but you got to choose the right. You got to have the right tools. You got to choose the right path to heal it. Otherwise, you're gonna choose the path of antidepressants, of science, medical science, which gonna cause you more problems in the future. The first thing you need to understand is that you have raised your focus over your heart. As we know in psychoanalysis, the focus is one of the most powerful ingredients to feed the subconscious. So if your focus is too high on your heart racing rate, when this problem has just started, because as we know, anxiety is something automatic. Anxiety is the body's stress response, the nervous system stress response to the body. And the body reacts with this kind of fear, shame, guilt, whatever, and negative emotion that anxiety gives to you. Anxiety is different from stress, is a long-term response. But stress, when we have a normal stress for a short time, is good to us because it feeds our nervous system, our intelligence to find solution. Stress isn't bad sometimes. Is a feeding motor for our body. But when it's a long-term stress, when this thought going for your mind for long term, for a long time, then it becomes anxious because thoughts turns into feelings, into negative emotions. Your solar plexus, which is the power center of your body, is radiating these negative thoughts. So I think you are clear how much important is the focus in our subconscious. The focus is basically one of the tools to feed your subconscious and to clarify the destiny of your life and your identity. So whenever you are focused in thought, then you're gonna increase the frequency and vibration to the nervous system and to your entire body. As we know, every cell thinks, said Thomas Edison. So basically, one thought repeated for many times can increase the emotions, can turn into emotions and change the destiny of every cell into your body. That's why the heart is reacting with this very hard beating so fast. You feel like your heart is going out of your chest. You feel terrified. And fast heart rates are normal to people with anxiety, depression, panic. Anxiety also might be the reason of the trauma you have in your past. More usual traumas are emotional traumas, but it might be acute, it might be complex trauma. So we need to analyze this to find out where is the reason and the roots of your anxiety. Or it might be some social anxiety or different, but I don't want to go in this topic. First, I want you to be focused in your thoughts, because that's are the power of your life. Thoughts are like a wireless for your brain. it feeds your subconscious, it changes the actions of your life, it changes the destiny of your life. So whenever you're having this kind of thought, for example, with people with cardiophobia, the most usual thought is, my heart is beating too much. I feel my heart is going out of my chest. Or for example, you're saying, not just my heart is beating too fast, but you're saying, my body is in danger. I feel I'm gonna die. This is one of the most extreme thoughts of imagination. And that's all where it's come from your imagination. That's why one of the first step into your life to heal anxiety or depression is to separate the thoughts. First, to understand what kind of thoughts you have, which can be done with a psychotherapist, and then is to separate this thought in two boxes. One is the real thought, something you have seen, you are listening to, which is a real thought, something you have done with your actions, you know is a real thought. And something which comes from your imagination. For example, I will die. You never have died, by the way. You're still alive because you are a powerful human being. But you got to stop to go towards that direction of death with your focus. And that's where we come to understand that when we change, when we shift this kind of thought, everything magical starts to shift in our life. The stress response of nervous system, because nervous system has a stress response to everything, to every thing which teases you from the outside environment. And when it is a bad memory or a bad feeling from the past, which is a game over when you react with too much distraction. For example, in a moment when you have a pain or a failure in your life, the conscience has lost his reasoning, has lost his barrier. There is no barrier now. Everything is going straight away to your subconscious. So imagine how powerful is conscience for the subconscious, because conscience is the watchman at the gate for the subconscious. Whenever you're having this thought, if conscience is gonna approve it, is gonna go straight to subconscious. But when the conscience it doesn't approve it, for example, if you say, I'm gonna die. Conscience, it just comes a thought in your mind, I'm gonna die. But conscience doesn't approve it. It doesn't approve it. It say, no, I'm not gonna die. I'm still alive. Nothing is gonna happen. You just calm yourself. And then it doesn't go in your subconscious. But when you approve with your conscience, I'm gonna die, and you really believe I'm gonna die, belief is one of the second step of your subconscious mind to be real. Because a subconscious mind, it's not also take everything as a real, whatever conscience approve it. So whatever conscience approve it, subconscious it take it. So basically, subconscious believe whatever the conscience says to it. That's why you need to train your conscience, which is your focus. Focus is your conscience. The focus we can always control with our conscious mind. Because we can shift our focus right now. Right now I'm speaking to you and I shift my focus on reading this letter which I have here. I can shift my focus every time I want. And actually the one of the greatest tools in our life is to shift our focus in our life. Because when we shift the focus, we shift the energy. We shift the vibration. We shift the frequency in the universe. But yeah, now he's gonna understand that when anxieties become automatic because of this repeated thought, and the subconscious is feeding every time with this kind of thoughts, it becomes automatic. Now you already have this in the subconscious. And basically, I'm doing this video for the reason I had one client, one girl, 25 years old. Before 6 years old, she suffered from trauma. She had an emotional trauma because her dad died. She felt this trauma so bad. She went to hospital from her heart resting rate, which was too high. heartbeats was too high, so she went terrified. She thought she gonna die. She has this thought. It's normal. When the heart rate are too high, you're gonna feel, you think you're gonna die. She go in hospital, but the first thing the doctor, one mediocre doctor, I would say, she said to her, you might die because you have heart resting rate too high. So she felt it. She went to more panic. She feed it with her nervous system, with more fear, more terrified thoughts come into her mind. She already believed it, she already felt it. Because the feeling and the belief actually is the weapon of your subconscious. Subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your life, which is the part of division which actually 95% of your actions control from your subconscious mind. Because there are the memories, there are the feelings, there are all your behavior, there are everything you have believed, they are there. So in that moment, that thought was destructive, and it gone straight away in every cell of her body, in her solar plexus, in her emotions, in her organs, and straight away to the heart as well. So the heart resting rate became even more hard, more high, till she took beta blockers, a drug which lower her heart resting rate. But we have to understand here that sometimes, even when we suffer from anxiety, depression or trauma, we don't need to go to medical science. We don't need to go to these drugs. It's not that the way we're gonna heal. We need to change this world within ourselves. We need to revive the thoughts. We need to revive the emotions. We need to recondition the emotion. Because we can't always be depending on medicine or on antidepressants to heal our life, to control our life. We got to find this power inside ourselves. And we need to, sometimes we need even to fight it with it. We need to fight it hard. It's a fight. It's a fight, but this time it's not a fight against people. It's a fight against yourself, against the way how you think. So we don't need to feed our subconscious with fear whenever happens something. Whenever happen a problem or a disaster, we can't feed it with fear. And the moment when we feed it with fear, we create a circle of fear, problem, fear, problem. It just brings you more problem. No, we got to shift the focus. And today I'm going to say you a secret how to fight cardiophobia, because that's why you are here. You want to heal it. You want to get healed. But this video is actually even for people who suffer from anxiety and depression. Because these tools which I'm going to say to you today, and this kind of plan which we're going to build, is one of the most amazing plan you can have to shift the identity of your life and also to heal cardiophobia. So I know it sounds like strange, but in the moment when you're having this kind of heartbeats, which we explain is from the past trauma or the past problems, and now your body's become automatic. The cells are reacting automatically to more fear when you're having these heartbeats. Because I'm sure when you're having these heartbeats too fast and too high, is because you are feeding it with more fear. But you got to shift it. And it sounds strange, but you got to do something else. You got to think like you are normal. Yes, that's the secret. You got to think like your heart rate are perfect. Like your heart is beating like an athlete. Like your heart is the most healthiest heart in the universe. You got to think it. You got to do it. I know it's hard. Say, BLEDAR, how I'm gonna do this when my heart rates are... You got to do it. The opposite of your mind. You got not to obey your mind in this kind of point. People with anxiety, one of the most tricks they have is that their mind lie to them. Because it's ultimately for their past. It's ultimately from the wrong imagination, as we said. As we know, we have two kinds of imagination. There is a good imagination and there is a bad imagination. Which one imagination do you want in your life? Which one result do you want in your life? So I know you're gonna think it's strange to think from my heart is good in the moment when it's bad, but you got to do it with repetition. And that is another tool for the subconscious. I know you have done it so many years, you've been suffering from anxiety or depression or trauma for 6-7 years because you have fed it with imagination, repetition, unrealistic thought, which is not real. You are not that person. You don't have that problem. You got to say this many times, millions of times. Is the formula, by the way, because you never fall down maybe from cardiophobia. You maybe lost your conscience. You never had this death or heart attack or anything. You are normal. You're just thinking it. So the first step, here's the plan now. Let's put in the paper. So the first step is to change your thoughts. Sometimes to change your thoughts, you need to do even journaling. Because you can say, oh, I'm gonna change my thoughts, but in the moment when you have the problem, your subconscious is very automatically there and lost, sorry for this, and lost the focus and still thinking these thoughts. You got to train it to become automatically for good. How it become automatically in the first point? In the first point, it becomes automatically because you are thinking it for many, many times. Now we got to think it for good many, many times. You got to think it that my heart rates are perfect, that my heart is beating so normal, that my heart is the most healthiest heart in the universe. You got to think this. But also we got to do some exercise. There is a plan, but there is also a practice. You need to turn it into practice. So the first thing is to recognize if this thought is real or imagination. First, to see these thoughts, we need to go with a psychotherapist, with me or any coach you want to go. It's up to you. But if you want to go with me, then book a call through my app, through my website. Let's go and talk about your problem. So first thing, you shift your thoughts. You write it in the paper if it needs. If you can't remember it, you write it in the paper. My heart is beating good. My body is not dangerous, but it's protecting me because it feels like it's in danger. Because I know when you have anxiety, your body is responding to your stress response. Is the body responding to the problem, to the thoughts you have. So your body, how does it respond? With heart beating, with shallow breathing, it looks like protection, but it's not. You got to train it. And the first thing is shift your thoughts, write your thoughts, your positive thoughts into the paper. Read it, focus in it. Use imagination, because imagination and focus for me are actually one of the best tools, but also one word. Focus and imagination. Sometimes you imagine yourself like your heart is perfect, like you are an athlete, like you are going in the gym and doing the most amazing exercise because your heart is perfect. Like you are hiking a mountain. I also feed your imagination with good things, because imagination is one of the most powerful tools of our life. It can change the destiny of our life. It can shift your identity. It can feed your subconscious with the tools it needs to bring something in reality. Whoever is your income, relationship, or whatever you dream about, subconscious is one of the greatest tools. So subconscious and imagination and focus are the same thing. So focus, it needs to be by imagining it for relaxing your muscles and imagination it about your what you write. That my heart is beating slowly, that my heart is healthy, that I feel my heart is so calm and quiet, that I feel my body is not in danger. My body doesn't have any danger. And you write this thought. You write in the paper. And you repeat it for 20, 30, 50 times till you are convinced about it. And that is one of the greatest tools actually in the subconscious, repetition. Repetition, it become emotional with during the time, with practice. Nothing can change straight away. We need practice. We need to practice it. It doesn't come nothing from nothing. Don't believe it. Nothing. You're not going to become rich, forget it. if you don't make a business to be rich, and if you don't work in this business, you're not change your destiny of your life, or you're not gonna heal anxiety or mental illness just from nothing. There is a great and simple law of universe, which is the law of cause and effect. We must have to take the means to change the result. There is the law of abundance. We must have to think, to believe there is a lot of abundance. Not that we are poor, not that we are lack of money, of income, not that we can't afford it. These are negative, destructive thoughts. We got to control the thought. The thought is powerful. We need to shift the thought to positive ones. Whenever we have a negative thoughts, we need to ponder on our thoughts. The conscience is one which ponder of our thoughts. Your conscience need to be trained. Sometimes I give people who suffer from anxiety and depression the technique of orientation and the limbs. Like, it's something else, but I don't want to talk about this, but you need to do practice. You need to train it. And why not to get a coach? Because you need to speak with somebody to see where are the destructive feelings and thoughts. So you can change them with practice and the tools that your therapists give to you through cognitive behavior therapy. So thought repetition is one of the so it's very clear now. You change the thoughts from imagination, you bring a real positive thoughts, you focus on it with imagination, you write it down to be more focused, you do journaling, or you write every thought which comes in your mind in the paper. Don't keep it, don't hold it, don't go in your room, don't say, oh, I feel terrified, I feel so bad, I'm gonna die, I need ambulance. No, shift it. Take a piece of paper, write it down. I feel good. The opposite of it, with strength. With strength, you need to use the power of yourself. But the power of your body, it needs some other exercise as well. Because in the moment when you have this kind of problem and you can't shift your thoughts, then shift your breath. Train yourself to breathe. The first exercise in the morning, straight away start with your breathing. Because the breathing need to be powerful in your solar plexus. The nervous system need to be revived through breathing. The oxygen need more to feed the blood. So we need to breathe. And people who suffer with cardiophobia, they have this kind of technique of breathing. They have to absorb the oxygen little, but a scale longer. Why a scale longer? Because a scaling longer, it releases more the heart resting rate to go normal. It's proven scientifically. So then the breathing, it should be you can see I scale longer, I keep it longer. And actually is another exercise here. So you go into practical after you write it, straight away to actions. You do this S sound, which is the best to reduce heart racing rate. Look how easy it be done. So you take a deep breath again, you relax, you do it again. And if you have a heart rest monitor in your application, you just download one, you can see the heart racing rate is going to drop down. Because this is a miracle exercise for people with cardiophobia. It relaxes your heart racing rate. But it has to be done many times. Even the thought which you just changed, it has to be said many times. My heart is beating great. You have to react it. You have to include a little bit emotion in it. My heart is beating nice. Even your heart is beating so fast, doesn't matter. Because you need to not to obey to your mind right now. You need to do the opposite of your mind says. Do the opposite. That's it. Do the opposite and many times. Focus in it. A lot of focus. Straight away the vibe change, the mood change. You feel better. You feel amazing. And also when you say it many times, what's happening? You start acting over it. That's another secret now. You know, heart racing rate not just become greater, but you start to do greater things. You start to do maybe a focused deep work. You start maybe to increase your skills. You might maybe start, if you are a mother, being better mother for your child, being better wife for your husband. And if you are a man, maybe you're going to be successful in your purpose, in your vision. Everything starts to change with your mind with this practice. Also, we have another exercise. It's called humming, because as we know, the vagus nerve, which is the largest nerve in your body, which connects the nervous system with your solar plexus, because that's the end of the vagus nerve, is all the nerves going straight away in the middle of diaphragm and controlling the diaphragm. It's actually end up with the solar plexus, with this gongle of nerves which are in the center of your chest. And basically the solar plexus, to train the solar plexus, which is breathing, cold exposure, everything, but don't go in cold exposure if you suffer from cardiophobia. Not because cold exposure is bad, but it has a high stress response in the start. If your cardiovascular system is not trained, then for people with cardiophobia, we don't need a lot of strength training or cardio or cold exposure in the beginning. Even the cold exposure in the start, it increases the stress response, but in the end, it lowers your stress response. It lowers your cortisol. It relaxes your entire body. Do your cold exposure after you have changed the state and you have done a mental shift on your nervous system. You have calmed your nervous system after you have had not this kind of heart racing rate high and too long for a long time. Then you go in a cold exposure, because cold exposure benefits are unlimited. I've spoken many videos about this, so hear it carefully and learn about it. So yeah, as you see, you do this humming. It's called humming to calm the vagus nerve, which is part of parasympathetic nervous system. It controls also, it's strange, but it controls also the life of solar plexus. It controls the life of your intestines. It controls the life of your nervous system. It controls the life of your life. It controls everything. Vagus nerve is the largest nerve. One of the techniques to calm it is also cold exposure, maybe yoga and stretching, but this technique is one of the best. I love it. It's called humming. You do humming for long. After you did this S exercise, which I explained to you, you do breathing as well. Breathing, S exercise, and you do this humming. You do like this, or you do just like this. That's why you wake up your vagus nerve. You wake up your vagus nerve, more nourishment to your nerves. The nerves start to release the positive emotions. You start to feel better, calmer. You calm your nervous system. You shift your life. So also there is another exercise when you do reverse body reverse standing. When you put your legs in your walls, you put your head out of your bed, and the blood start to circulate in your brain as well. It's important. It's important you do this exercise, my friend. You need to shift your life. You need to fight with it. Never you having this kind of cardiophobia, straight away this exercise. Whichever I said to you, write it in a paper. Do it straight away. Do it for many times. Fight with it. It's not just stopping there and thinking about it. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have something. No, you got to do the exercises. You got to shift your awareness. Awareness is one of the most powerful tools of your life. You are aware about what you are doing. If you are not aware about what you are doing, you can do everything terrified. Anything terrible you can do. So you got to shift it with exercise and also with diet. We got to see how is the stomach condition, how is your digestive system, how is your hormonal system, how is your energy. We got to see how is your cardiovascular system, your mental state, your subconscious mind. We got to see your actions in your daily. We got to see your environment where you are. We got to see your habits. We got to shift your identity. And that can be done through the coach. So if you want my help, check the link in my bio. Let's book a free consultation. Let's start from there. Wherever you're suffering, wherever you're feeling, I guarantee you in less than 30 days to heal and to change and to shift your life. And one of the greatest tools, actually, if you start suffering from your cardiophobia, is to see what you've put in this whole stomach. Because as we know in holistic health, the gut is the second brain of your body, and the brain of your subconscious is your solar plexus. So you need to train, you need to strengthen your solar plexus. If you want to know more techniques and secrets how to shift the power of your solar plexus, and then book a free consultation. I hope this video helped you out, and if you have any question and if you have any comments, comment below, because I'm sure I'm going to respond to you soon, my friend. And subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. See you in the next